Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well and having a wonderful day. I'm here to do an intuitive card reading to see what insights, guidance, and messages the universe has for us, especially for those looking for clarity, feeling like they're a bit stuck, like things are muddled, there's no clear path, like kind of cycles, and just kind of wanting to know the way forward. So let's take a look at the cards and see what the universe wants to share. Okay, so we have yellow, purify your body, and this can be done in a variety of ways, whether that just be like doing an energy cleanse, making sure you get the rest and sleep you need, tending to your physical needs, like the kinds of food you eat, having more water in your diet versus, other liquids like, alcohol or stimulants like coffee. It could just be, spending more time in a religious or spiritual practice with like prayer or meditation. Could be journaling. It's more about making sure that stagnant energies aren't, remaining in the body, that you can, get them cleared up, and also you're not having all this like heavy or negative energy around, because it's like we're all humans, so we have our emotions. It's just when these negative energies, we get fixated on them, we get them stagnant, or we're just like obsessing over them, and we're having the bitterness, the resentment, the anger, the frustration, the hatred, all of that. If we just fixated on them and let them like fester inside of us, we're basically poisoning ourselves. And as they say, the body is a temple. So taking the time to purify your body, to tend to it, to make sure it's in the best possible shape is very important. And you could also help purify your body through movement, through physical exercise, going on walks, being out in nature, all those things. So just take some time to purify your body and get the energy flowing so it's not, stuck. That would be important. Okay, so full moon in Cancer, let your fears dissolve. Yeah, that's one of the main things that can get us tripped up is fear. It can feel so convincing, and the mind can ensnare us in all these negative what ifs, and we can paralyze ourselves and overthink things and convince ourselves not to go for things that we truly want, that would be in our best interest, because we're scared. What if it doesn't work out right? What if it backfires? What if we miss out? Like all these things. But fear is false evidence appearing real, and if we let fear control our lives, let it dictate our path, we're not truly going to be alive. We're going to be more in survival mode, more existing, and trying to, subside the fear, just like not let it overwhelm us, but it's like a constant thing that's always looming over you. So it's really important that we learn to let it go. Not that it's inherently bad to feel fear. It's a natural human emotion. You're not lesser because you feel fear, but it's more of when it's persistent and it's, controlling you and you're obsessing over it, that it becomes a problem. It's then allows to fester, and you go down all these dark paths, and you hold yourself back and you don't do what you truly need and want to do. But when we can release the fears, when we can allow ourselves to process our emotions, to let it out after it's come in, energy, like emotion is energy in motion. So you don't want to keep it trapped inside of you. You need to let it out. You need to dissolve your fears. And, fear will come back from time to time because, we're human and we have our emotions, but we don't want to let fear run the show. We are the captains of our ships. We are the authors of our story. So we need to be more mindful and aware and purposeful with how we choose to show up in the world, the narratives we choose to tell ourselves. Yeah. Full moon in Pisces, forgive. This kind of feels like forgiving yourself for what you didn't know, because when you know better, you can do better. You didn't know back then in the past what you know now, so don't beat yourself about that. It can be hard because we can be our harshest critics and be like, oh, we should have known because I know now, but that's not serving anything. Take your past and use this as lessons to do better in your present moment and in the future. And also, with other people, they're human too, they make mistakes, and it's important to forgive them, but depending on what people have done, if they've had these, toxic cycles and patterns where they keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, you should still forgive them, but that doesn't mean you let them back in your life. That doesn't mean, you're like, oh, okay, I'll give you another chance when you've given them chance time and time again and they keep showing you their true colors and they're no good to you. It's not loving to keep letting them back in. You just need to be loving, kind, and respectful to yourself as well. So, you can forgive them. You cannot hold, any hatred or bitterness or resentment in your heart because, again, that's like a poison that you're doing to yourself. But that doesn't mean you just give them a free pass and be like, okay, you're forgiven. Go ahead, keep doing it. It's like, no. You need to have the healthy boundaries. You need to know when enough is enough and when to not open up the door for them to come back in. And, they may choose to learn, grow, and improve. And then, you can choose at that point whether you want to let them back in or not. But you do not have to. You can forgive without, letting them back in. Yeah. New Moon and Scorpio, go deeper. I've noticed this a lot growing up and just like looking around nowadays as well. It's just so many people seem to be surface level and rather shallow. And it's not inherently bad to, want a cozy life or to want the appearance of things going well and all that, but when people are so caught up in surface level shallowness, the truly important things get neglected. And, all these people are like, oh, yes, we're friends. And they're being all buddy, nice to each other's faces, but, backstabbing and trash talking and spreading all these smear campaigns behind each other's backs. And it's just like, how is that friendship? How is that love? Like, how is that someone you want in your life, truly? We need to go deeper. And it's not just, with other people, with ourselves, because we can, be kind of shallow. It's like, oh, what I want is to have this huge house and have all this money. And, I want to live in the big city and like, I want to have it made and I want all the fancy things. And it's like, it's not inherently wrong to want any of that, but you have to go deeper and decide if you actually want it. Because I know for me personally, having like this obsessively huge house and like being in the city and stuff like that, like that would drive me bonkers. Like the upkeep and all the chaos and commotion that comes with city life and all the people there and all the noise, and it'd be too much for me. It'd be way too much. And in today's society, it'd be like, oh, if you had that, you've made it big. But it's just like, is that something that's actually going to make you happy? Is it actually going to be worthwhile for you? Is it worth pursuing? And for some people, that is where they thrive. That is their ideal environment. And if that's the case, all more power to them. But you gotta be honest with what you want and go deeper and not just look at surface level things, because a lot of things on the surface can look fine. I know with my previous relationship where I managed to escape a narcissistic ex, officially diagnosed, and everyone was telling me about how we were the cutest couple and they just love seeing us together, and like we always, like whenever they see us, it just made their hearts so warm. But behind the scenes, he was actually being mean to me, and it took me a while to catch on because I'm pretty sure he's more of a covert narcissist than a full-blown in-your-face narcissist, because if it was in my face, I feel like I would have noticed it and not, pursued the path I did. But you got to be careful with surface level things, because everything can seem, great on paper and it sounds nice, but you got to go deeper and you got to trust the energy, because the energy doesn't lie. You don't want to just stay at surface level. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Time to move on. Flow with the river and see where it takes you. That's the thing. A lot of times, potentially because of how it seems on paper and how much time we've invested in things, we'll stick around for things too long when it's already turned kind of sour and it's kind of eating away at us on the inside and turning toxic. And, it's happened with some friends of mine and old jobs, and with me, like, I am pretty dedicated and loyal. So when I make a commitment, when I give my word on something, I want to follow through with it. And so I'll keep showing up, because, like, with my former jobs, it's like, well, I already said I was going to do this job, and I was working with kids, and I didn't want to, harm the students, because I cared a lot about them. I wanted, to do the best by them. But it's like certain coworkers and bosses were very, very toxic, potentially narcissists. I don't know. I'm not an official I don't get to officially diagnose people, but, like, it was bad. Like, I probably should have taken it as a sign when I first started working as a co-teacher with the lead of the classroom. She was great. She was very religious and, like, very, like, pure Catholic kind of thing, and, like, looking for good energy kind of person. And she's like, yeah, I stopped letting other people eat lunch in this classroom because, during lunchtime the other teachers like to come in, but they would just come in and do all this toxic rumors and gossip and just ickiness, and it was all negative. And she's like, yeah, I couldn't stand it anymore. And I'm like, I probably should have took that as a sign. It's like, oh, those are how most of these people are. It was great working with her, though, but, like, the leadership was like that too, and they were very gaslighty and wouldn't give you the help you needed, and it was just a hot mess. But the thing is, like, I didn't want to leave because I wanted, support her and the kids. But apparently the lead principal director person of the preschool was trying to get rid of me and kept asking the lead teachers, like, oh, is she doing okay, all this? And she's like, no, she's great. What are you talking about? Just kept looking for ways to, like, give me the axe. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, these people. And, maybe it's because she felt threatened by my light and my energy. I don't really know. I don't know what her problem is. That's for her to deal with. Let people do what they do. But when you get the signs, don't hang on due to, like, sentiment and nostalgia. It can be hard to let go, but when it's time to move on, you need to move on, because it can be holding you back. Like, with the toxic group I got away from and I escaped last year, like, I am not one who wants to cut ties so easily. Like, I want to be kind and loving and respectful and find peace and, like, not think the worst of people and give people chances. But when they're treating you horribly and they're refusing to listen and they're creating all these smear campaigns and spreading all these lies about you and going on about how you're crazy and you're, like, thinking the worst of them, when you're just trying to, find a peaceful resolution and have open, honest communication, yeah, it's time to move on. And so, I had to block people, and it's not out of ill will. It's not because I resented them or hated them or had bitterness or anything like that. It's just like, no, it's time for me to move on. I am closing the door to this chapter of my life. I'm not letting the toxicity back in. I wish you the best, but no. And so we gotta stop fighting the flow. Like, we gotta go with the flow. We gotta learn to let go, because if we're clinging on to all these things that no longer serve us, that are holding us back, that are harming us, we're just carrying around extra baggage and dead weight that's holding us back from all the new. And it can be hard, but it's in our best interest to let go. Yeah. You deserve good things. Keep your focus on what you want. That's the thing. If we're still holding on to all the old that's no longer serving us, that is, harming us, like if I had kept on trying to hold on to that toxic group, if I kept trying to hold on to these toxic job environments and my narcissistic ex and other like things that aren't good for me, it's just like I wouldn't be able to let the good in. I'd be settling for less and getting bombarded by all this negative energy all the time and being drowned out by toxicity. And like these people, like they love to throw their barbs and try to bring you down to their level and just break you. And you don't deserve that. Like, you don't deserve that. You deserve good things. You deserve love. You deserve kindness. You deserve respect. You deserve peace. You deserve joy. You deserve fun. You deserve success, like harmony, all these things. But if you are wrapped up in things that, you should move on from, it's going to occupy the space for the new, for the healthy, for the good that is trying to come in, for all these new blessings. So do let go, as hard as it can be. We gotta grow, and we gotta learn, and we gotta improve, and we can't keep clinging to the old. Like, it's like when you're a kid, you know how you can have all these growth spurts and you can have these favorite like shirts or pants or whatever it is, like this article of clothing, and it's your absolute favorite and you'd wear it all the time. But then once you grow and you have that growth spurt, it's like you can't fit anymore, but you can still try to, put it on, and it's like it doesn't fit, it's too tight, it's uncomfortable, and you gotta let go. And so by letting go, and like, and in this instance metaphor of, the clothing, it's like by, donating the clothes, giving it away, doing a hand-me-down to younger siblings, whatever it is, by freeing up space in your wardrobe, you have the space for all these new good things to come in, new favorite clothing to come in. So keep your focus on what you want. Keep your focus on knowing your self-worth and that you deserve good things, because you do, and good things are coming. But where you put your time, energy, and attention, where you put your focus, is what will grow. It's what will build its momentum. So do your best not to get caught up in all the negativity. And that's another thing about letting your fears dissolve, and, purifying your body, and, forgiving, and going deeper, not doing surface level, to actually get clear on what you want. Because the universe can't give you what you actually want and what's best for you if you don't know, Yeah. Let love be your guide. Live a life from love, guided by love. That's the thing. Looking around as I was growing up, and even now, so many people are not guided by love. They are guided by fear. They are guided by anger, division, hate, anxiety, worry, all these negative things. And like sometimes they're guided by the just straight up ego, and like egomaniacs, and be condescending and all that. Sometimes they're like going down the whole route of pride, but in like an overly prideful way, where they're just like boasting about everything and they can't see, constructive feedback on how they can grow, and then they take that as an attack. It's like there are so many people who are guided by so many other things that are not love. And it makes a world of a difference when you come from a place of love, not just for other people, but for yourself. Because, oh my goodness, guys, so many people try to guilt trip me. They try to do emotional blackmail. They try to manipulate me. They try to belittle me and invalidate me for, having healthy boundaries. And it's like, why are you hurting me? You're not being fair. This isn't right. And it's like, literally, I'm just saying, hey, this is my boundary. And if, you are coming from a place of love, you would respect that. And, me, I'm a pretty understanding person. I feel like I'm pretty reasonable. I try to make compromises within reason. If something is actually going to be harmful to me, it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. It's like, I am willing to give, and to a certain extent, but it's just like, it's not going to do us any good if you're like, oh, I need this, and you just like expect me to like cut off pieces of me, just like, here, have it. It's like, then I'm going to bleed out. Like, no. Like, that's the thing, like, some people are so wrapped up in themselves and what they want that they can't even see, like, how much they're asking of you. And some of them know. I suspect that narcissists know, but then they try to make you out to be the bad guy and, like, you're doing all this harm to them, and they do the whole Darvo thing where they deny, what was it, accuse, and, like, and then there's, like, a victim switch, and, like, yeah, it's, like, it's a whole hot mess. But as hard as it is to be dealing with these types of people, we need to come from a place of love. And again, that goes back to the whole forgiveness thing I was talking about earlier, but also just loving ourselves and knowing when enough is enough, and when you just need to walk away, when you need to give space, when you need to potentially go silent and even cut ties and, block, because it's just like, listen, that toxic group and the narcissist, they were getting so nasty, and I'm just like, trying to communicate with you at this point is futile. Like, you're not listening. I'm spending hours and hours and hours trying to think of the best way to broach this subject, to be gentle and loving and kind and respectful to you, to make sure you are heard, but also myself, and you're just not listening. You're not having it. Like, it's no good for me. It's not being kind, loving, respectful myself, so I had to walk away, and because they kept harassing me, I had to block them. And it's just like, listen, I'm not doing it out of hatred to you, bitterness, resentment, anger, any of that. I'm just doing it out of love, respect, and kindness to myself, because you are encroaching upon my peace of mind and my well-being. So, let love be your guide for both others and yourself, because, enabling people's bad behaviors is not loving to yourself or them, because it gets them thinking that what they're doing, their horrible conduct, their mistreatment is acceptable, and it's not. So, sometimes it needs to be tough love with others and yourself. But yeah, the squirrel preparation, like, this feels like preparation because you're starting a new chapter. Because, you're letting go, you're going deeper, you're forgiving, you're releasing your fears, you are cleaning up your energy and purifying your body. You are recognizing your self-worth and that you deserve good things, that you deserve love and kindness and respect. And you are coming from a more loving place for everything. And so this is going to open up so much new to you. You are going to come across people, places, and things that reflect this energy. And, anyone who is not of that energy, who is not matching your frequency of love and kindness and respect and peace and joy and fun and all of that, like, they may get to come in for a little bit, because how some of them are covert and they hide their true colors, but they'll reveal their true colors and they're going to get energetically ejected from your experience. Like, I think that's kind of what happened with the toxic group, honestly, because like, it just all blew up all of a sudden, and like everything was getting so heated and popping off, and like I think like they genuinely couldn't stand to be around my energy anymore, because I was like still trying to be peaceful and gentle, all that. And so like they were coming up with these smear campaigns and all that to try to justify it and to, try to get ammunition by upsetting me, so then I play out, how they expect things to play out, and people getting mad and yelling and attacking back. And it's just like, no, I don't play those games. I'm still very much human. I have my emotions, and that's why I stepped away. I gave space. I walked away to clear my head, because I'm like, no, I'm not gonna be like my family and lash out and scream and go for the kill. Like, I've been on the receiving end of that so many times. I do not want to do that to another people. It feels awful. So it's like, yeah, I think the universe is preparing us for a brand new chapter and all this good to come in, and it's going to be drastically different than what we're used to. It's going to be so very different. And yeah, we're really going to need balance, and that comes in terms of, rest and action, because with me personally, with how dedicated and loyal and committed I am, and how I want other people to feel good and I want them to receive love, and like just wanting to live from a place of integrity and kindness and all of that, I would give and just keep going and going and going and just pouring out of myself all the time. And past me would feel bad about needing rest, bad about, needing to postpone something because I'm not feeling well, like whether it be sick or just not sleeping well or whatever. Like if I genuinely cannot get myself to do it, it's just like I would feel so horrible and try to force myself to do it. And it's like, no. We need a balance of rest and action. We need a balance of giving and receiving, of, pouring out into others and then having others pour into our cup, because it's like, as I say, all work and no play. It's like, that's not healthy. But you also need the balance of, giving and receiving, because if you're constantly pouring out, your cup's going to run empty, and you can't keep giving from an empty cup. There's nothing left. So, with my family and a lot of people I've come across in life, whether that be friends, teachers, co-workers, bosses, exes, like, they would make me feel so guilty for needing anything, and they'd scream at me and attack me. So it's like, letting myself receive is tricky. It's getting easier, but man, like so many people, especially my family, just make me feel guilty for even existing and taking up space. Like they just freak out, and it's like, it's a hot mess. And so it's just like, knowing your worth and that you deserve good things, and balancing rest and action, giving and receiving. Like, it's been a process for me, guys. And from what I've heard with a lot of people who are of my kind of mindset and personality, it's something a lot of us struggle with. But we need to get prepared for this new chapter and have the balance to, go the distance and stay the course. Yeah, we very much need to release. Let go of old patterns and beliefs that no longer serve your highest good. Embrace freedom in your life. That's the thing. That's why the universe is coming in and telling us to let go of our fears, to forgive the past, to, move on, to remember that we deserve good things, and to come from love, because our old ways of existing, whether personal or in the larger sense societal, the old ways aren't working anymore. They are falling apart. And that's why so many people I've noticed are losing their minds and having these emotionally volatile explosions, and they can't handle it because they don't have the internal foundation, being like the internal work to realize, oh, peace of mind and happiness are an inside job. I should work on myself. It's like, no, they're too busy, putting blame on everybody else and not wanting to take accountability. But it's like, these old ways, they're not working anymore. And it's important to release because it leads to growth. You're experiencing growth and expansion in all areas of your life. You are on the right path and moving towards greater fulfillment and success. That's the thing. That's why the universe is preparing you and reminding you that you deserve good things, and to come from love, and to move on, and to let fears go, and to forgive, because you are growing so much, and all these beautiful blessings are going to come in. It's going to be monumental and magnificent and miraculous, but we got to let it go. We can't keep holding on to the old if we want to grow. And yeah, it's leading to great progression. You're experiencing forward movement and the sequential unfolding events. Trust the natural flow of life and take steps towards your goals with confidence. That's the thing. The universe really wants you to move on, to go with the flow and see where it takes you, to go deeper and to be doing things in a new way. Because all this good is coming, but we don't want to get tripped up. We want to stay authentic. Be yourself, pursue your passions, and show your authentic self. Don't pay attention to what others are thinking of you. That's the thing. Like with me personally, I would struggle with that too, because it's just like, if other people are so convinced that I'm harming them, I'll be like, well, no, I don't want to harm them. And so I'd like be trying to bend over backwards to make them feel better. It's like, they need to take accountability for themselves and be able to tend to themselves, because like, I'm coming from a kind, loving, respectful place. I'm coming from a place of peace and love. And if you want to twist things, and with that toxic group, for instance, and accuse me of saying that you're all the bad guys and I think the worst of you, it's like, I said nothing of the sort. And like, I had so many people read over what I was going to tell them, and they all were like blown away with how mature I was, and how I wasn't being petty, and how clear-headed and level-headed and calm and rational and respectful I was, and they were just blown away. But it's just like, if people are so wrapped up in their narratives about how, everyone is against them and whatnot, you can't do anything. Like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So don't get so caught up in what other people are thinking of you. Like, live your life from a place of integrity. Live your life in a way where you can rest your head at night and be proud of that you did your best. You're not perfect. We're all human, but you did the best that you could. That's what's important. And yeah, that's the thing. Star, guaranteed success. Like, you are going to be successful. You are. And it's like, it could take some time, but you're going to be successful in the very end. And money path. A path with money is waiting for you to find it. That's the thing. That's what it feels like you're being prepared for, and why you need to release, because it's coming, but you need to let it happen. And, yeah. Tiger, doing something risky, taking a chance. It can be risky to be our true selves when people aren't used to it, and they're used to you showing up in a certain way. And, like, if you, like me, would not speak up because, you didn't want to rock the boat and make people uncomfortable, or, whatever, and, like, knew that it would ruffle feathers if you said something, even though it was true, even if it needed to be heard, and, get accused of being the problem and trying to, be dramatic and ruin things and this and the other. It's like, but if you are holding yourself back, if you pretend to be someone you're not, if you are settling for mistreatment and less than you deserve and all that, like, it's not going to be able to help you grow. You're holding yourself back. You're limiting yourself. It's time to move on for that and to take that chance. It's time to take that chance. Boot. Increase your efforts if you want to achieve your goals. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you can achieve the goals you want, but you're going to need to do things differently. You're going to need to let go. You're going to need to forgive yourself. You're going to need to move on. You're going to need to come from a place of love. You're going to need to be authentic, You're going to need to have that balance. But it will work out. It will. Chain of events that will affect your life. And that's the thing, like, it feels like a domino effect. The stars are aligning, and once you start taking these steps, it's all going to fall into place for you. And it's just that natural progression, that natural growth, and it all starts with you letting go, releasing, forgiving, going deeper, moving on, because you are not the person you used to be. You're not. Well, it's not a bad thing either, to be able to grow and to be new and be the brand new you. Good things are coming, guys, and it can be tricky, it can be a little scary, but at the end, you're going to benefit from it. So I'm wishing you all a wonderful rest of your day. Please take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye!